channel. This is a live impromptu, as they always seem to be. But I'm out in the streets and I'm sitting at actually a chain coffee shop. So I just thought I'd jump on and chat, turkey chat, like not gobble gobble chat, but turkey, the country chat. I actually just went to, I'll flip the screen, let you guys see. I'm in this is a coffee shop and they have them all over town. But I was just right across the street at this mall here, and I actually live right down the street. And this area is crazy. So, for I think this is going to be one of those informative videos where we just talk about access and kind of mishaps, things that we believe as Westerners. And I don't have my stand, y'all. I'm sorry because this is impromptu. I didn't bring my selfie stick. But things that I think that a lot of times we don't expect or don't think that we're going to get, which is why, hey, Alec, why we don't a lot of times want to go different places because we don't think that there's going to be good access. And I want to tell you guys, okay, so I'm in Turkey right now, and I have been surprised at, not totally surprised, but surprised to a certain extent at just how some places are just so built up, so like truly commercial, and like are truly built on consumership, just like the States, right? Because sometimes I'm sitting and I'm trying to figure out, because I promise to God, there is a mall. And when I say a mall, I'm not just talking about like a rinky dink outdoor with two stores, a couple of like food cart kind of mall. I'm talking about like top of the notch, upscale malls. Now, this mall that I was at doesn't have any like high end stores like Mark and Talia. And I'll have to show you guys that more. I'm trying to do it when it's not crowded, but it's always crowded. Um, but these malls, you guys, let me let you see. That's the mall right there. There's also a mall like over there, just like boom. There's another mall like behind this one on the next block. And then like if I take the tram 3 stops down, yeah, I think it's 3 stops down. There's a huge mall with all the upscale stores, like the stores that, we consider to be like high end, your high end shopping. But like this mall, I just walked through this mall like I love it. I actually did some grocery shopping. I had not planned on it. But there's a 5M Migros here, which is one of their big shopping lines. It's not like super cheap, but it's nicer to go to that. It's right around the corner. I actually live like across the street and down. I'm like a 10-minute walk away. It's my first time actually coming here. I see it all the time. But anyway, I kind of want to show you guys something else too. I don't know if you can see it, but those are all apartments. And that's, I think, something that's different for Westerners, because, one thing that I will say, somebody sat by me that's smoking. One thing that I will say that I think is really unique, specifically about the U.S. Excuse me, guys, I'm moving tables. Specifically about the U.S. is, and it's not just the U.S., but it's something that, we know. It's the suburb life. Like, most people live in houses. Now everybody's going to be living in apartments. I don't know what's going on. Y'all know. But we're so used to suburb life that when I go back to the States, I will tell you it is extremely unique. And it's kind of neat because there's very few places that I've been, especially driving through and stuff like that, that have that suburban feel. Like I'm driving in neighborhoods and neighborhoods of houses. You don't really see that anywhere else. At least I haven't. And oops, sorry you guys. I've done my share of of traveling. Now, I ain't been everywhere, of course, but I've been to some. Hey, Al, good morning. Or I don't know what time it is. Hold on, y'all. I would like to try to say good morning, good afternoon. It's almost 5 o'clock my time, so so it's almost afternoon for you, I think. So yeah, and so yeah, I've been to quite a few places, I think. And I can truly say that that is one of the unique things. And I will tell you though, even the last time I went home, it's just a whole different feel because I get back into the States. I get in my car because I still have my car. Yeah, I haven't given up the car yet because I know I need to come back for a couple more things like passport renewals and driver's license renewals and different things like that. But bonjour. Bonjour, my French friends. Merhaba is what we say here in Turkey. I've learned 2 words. Teşekkürler. Thank you. Merhaba. Hello. I don't know how to say goodbye though. I guess I'll just never tell anybody. Never say goodbye. So I'll never say goodbye. But yeah, I get in my car once I get back in the States, and it's actually kind of cool to drive around and it just, while I love travel, I love the cultural experiences and different things like that. It is kind of neat to go back to the States and see some of the differences. And I mean, I've been in places that are really developed, and I'm talking about developed. Like even where I am now, it's super developed, but everybody lives in apartments. And I think like, we I don't know, y'all. When I was a kid, we were in an apartment, and we would classify people a certain way, and this just is a thing that kind of puts things in perspective for you, because these apartments here is like like where I am right now, you can get a $5,000 a month apartment in this, like what we would call a basic apartment. Like some of these places are quite expensive, right? They ain't even got a swimming pool, but they got a oceanfront, and so it's very relative. So I just I want to say that because I was at this mall, and then there's another mall, like I'm saying, 2-3 stops down, and then there's a mall right here, like all actually these are all in walking distance because I've walked as well, and then there's malls and malls and malls on top of each other, and this is like not unique to this country. It's something that I've actually seen pretty much everywhere. So let me say this. Of course, Italy is like that. Italy got stores and shops everywhere. There is no shortage. Greece, yes. I mean, oh my God, there's some places in Greece that I like truly, truly love, and they are very heavy in their shops. There's shops and stores, and I'm not just talking about like touristy places. I'm actually talking about like this is just where everybody is, where everybody goes. Now, of course, yeah, if you go into the mountains and stuff like that, they're not gonna have them. But Athens and Crete and Rhodes even are very, very heavy shopping places. My hair is like doing its own thing right now. So anyway, for you guys who just joined, I just came back from the mall that I pointed to over there. Was walking home and decided to stop over here at the Mac Bear Coffee House. It is a chain, and as you can see, it's pretty big and everything. I could actually come here and do some work, but there's a couple other coffee shops along the way to get here, so I'll probably start stopping at some of those because they are closer. I think I'm going to be moving back to the other area if I can find appropriate housing and that kind of thing. Hey, I'm in Charlotte, North Carolina. Oh, okay, so you are East Coast, right? East Coast. It's a little cloudy today, but y'all, it's 72 degrees, or well, I think it was supposed to get up to 70 today. It's gonna be like in the 80s. Too bad I don't know how to speak English. I love your personality. Thank you. you typed it. It typed really good for it to be, if it did a translate. Thank you for coming on and joining though. I don't, what language do you speak? Oh, French. Let me just tell you, French is not one that I took French in school. This is obviously years and years ago. And I did get French and Spanish really well. Couldn't get German. All I could do was with German. But I'm actually practicing Turkish on Duolingo right now. Last month it was Portuguese. Before that it was Italian and Greek. So Greek and then Italian. And then before that it was Albanian. So every month it's been something new. Yeah, it's been something new. Are you asking where am I from? I feel like I'm a global citizen. But originally, yeah, from the States. My passport says USA. At least the passport I have right now. I'm working on getting some other passports. Maybe. Or at least some residency in other places. But I really would like to get residency here in Europe. I love moving around in this space, and just being over here in the East is really awesome for me because it gives me access to Asia as well, which I love. I love, love, love. Oh, let me tell you guys, let me talk about something else. Because this was something, and I'm sorry I'm moving around so much. I did not bring my selfie stick, and I know better. I always have my selfie stick with me. And I took it out of the bag because I was like, oh, you're not going to sit down. You're just going to walk around. You're just getting out of the house because I hadn't gotten out of the house. Was supposed to go back on the other side. And I was like, nah, I don't feel like doing it today. And then I was like, yeah, but you need to get out. You need to get out. Like, you tripping. You need to get out. Glad I did. So anyway, one of the things, rains in France. Where is that? I was just in Paris. I was in Paris. I was in France. I was in Paris. As a pass through. I didn't do anything. I decided not to stay over because we had so many days left, and I didn't know how like strict they really are with your 9180. And I flew in from Cabo Verde, West Africa, to get here. And so I did a route through France. I hadn't been to France the last time I was in France was probably 2019 when funny story, I was in France because I was in Portugal. No. So I was in Portugal, yeah, and I flew down to Senegal. So I spent a week and a half or so in Senegal. I don't even know if it was that long. Maybe a week in Senegal. And I had a route to get back to Madrid, and from Madrid back to the States, because that's usually, back in the day, that was like the best and cheapest route. So anyway, I knew, well, my flight, the real cheap flight, y'all, it was like $142 from Senegal to Madrid, but it had a stop in France. And I went ahead and picked it because I knew I was going to get off the plane. It had a stop. And I was like, oh, well, if it stops, they normally, if it's a stop, you get off the plane. Okay, they tricked me. But this is the kicker, the reason why I wanted to get off, because it was a stop in Marseille. And I know a lot of people like, Marseille ain't nothing, y'all, but the Chateau d'If. If you've ever watched The Count of Monte Cristo, like I myself, that's like on repeat when I have my movie access. And like listen, The Count of Monte Cristo, if you go and look at it, you'll see one of our current superheroes when he was a kid on The Count of Monte Cristo. But that was one of my favorite movies, and I've always wanted to see the Chateau d'If. And so I was like, oh my God, I could go see the Chateau d'If. Shut up, I'm going to jump off this plane, right? I knew my luggage. I had to check my luggage for whatever reason. I don't know which flight I was on. Probably a Cabo Verde flight or something like that. It wasn't TAP. It had to be Cabo. So anyway, no, it was Senegal, so it wasn't a Cabo. I don't know, y'all. I don't know. I ain't even gonna lie to you. Anyway, I got off the flight. I'm supposed to, like, it was one of those flights where it was only stopping for the people who are getting off in France. Everybody wasn't, because I thought, I could grab my luggage. And then when everybody didn't get off, sorry, you guys. Sorry about that. And now they're playing music. So let me know if you can or cannot hear me. I do have my mic on today. So anyway, yeah, I was like, okay, let me get off and I'll spend the day here. And then I think I had booked a late night flight from Marseille to Madrid. So I was like, that's gonna be a piece of cake, right? Yeah, because I don't think I spent the night. I can't remember if I spent the night. Anyway, y'all, why I get off this plane? So I kind of did a skip lag without doing skip lag, where you think it has a layover. It's usually cheaper than a direct flight, which is so crazy. Anyway, so I did that, got off the flight, and went to Marseille. Got to Marseille, was in the airport looking up everything, like want to jump on a quick, not tour, but just get in a taxi or whatever, and then get on the ferry to go over to Marseille or to Chateau d'If. Why was it closed? It was closed. So the one time, the only time I've been in Paris or in France, I keep saying Paris like it's the country. Last time I was in France was in 2009. First time and last time I was in Paris in 2009. And then this was my second time was in 2019. And I literally stopped to go to the Chateau d'If. I couldn't believe it was closed. I could not believe it was closed. I was like, really? That's what we doing today? So anyway, I had to kind of like just loiter around. I walked around the city and it was raining. So I walked around the city. I will tell you, the pizza was, I went to some place, had some pizza. It was awful. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. And I'm like, out of all the stuff I could have had, and it was just because I didn't expect to be there long until I grabbed some. I stopped at a place and I was just like, it's so weird because everything was like what I would consider like Italian cuisine. Although I know pizza's not, well, not pizza, but like it was pastas and stuff like that. And I was like, I really didn't want pasta. Anyway, long story. So I ended up going to a place and I wasn't satisfied with the food either. Made my way back to the airport, got to Madrid, and then couldn't get my bag. And I think it's because they knew I jumped off the flight. Do y'all know I couldn't get my bag? And it was New Year's Eve too. I couldn't get my bag for 2 days. So luckily I knew I was going to be in Madrid for a couple of days. I went to the hotel, stayed in the hotel room. You talk a lot. I do. Do you understand me? Like you said, I thought you said you, shoot, I thought you said you didn't understand. Too bad I don't know how to speak English. What do you mean? Like, how do you understand the words that's coming out of my mouth? So yeah, anyway, I do talk a lot. Plus I talk fast too, so I don't forget what I was gonna say, because a lot of times I forget the words that's gonna come out of my mouth. So anyway, that was my experience. I'm really bummed. I do want to go back so I can see the Chateau d'If, but I also want to go back to France because there's so many other cities that I would like to visit. And of course, when people say France, everybody thinks Paris, and I'm just like, I'm on this quest to explore the world outside of the common tourist stops. I mean, of course, stop at them if there's something you want to see, but I actually would like to see these great places. It's the same as the States. Everybody goes there to go to New York. Kind of have to, though. I mean, I'm a vouch for New York. Everybody wants to go there. I think Chicago comes third on the list. Everybody goes to LA or New York, and then Chicago, and then like Miami. They're going there for work, and maybe in some crazy cities, cities and states. But yeah, I would say, ooh, right? Oh my goodness. I try to hide from the sun. I can't even see I can't see myself. So, yeah, so when I always try to suggest to people who want to go to the States to go to the States and visit some other cities. I mean, like, go to Arizona, go to Utah. If you love rock formations, go to Arizona for the Grand Canyon. It is massive. It is amazing. I haven't been to Utah, and I lived in the States. That was my goal to go a couple years ago, and I didn't make it. And then I was supposed to, one other place I do want to go because I love caves is Tennessee. We have natural underground caves and water thingies, waterfalls, and hot springs. We have a lot of beauty. United States it's more massive than it seems when you leave and you see all the other places in the world. And then you kind of look back and go, wait, we have this, we have this, we have this, we have so many things. It's just expensive to get around in the States. And so I do enjoy traveling abroad. I do. Marseille is far from home. I live near Belgium. Oh, I've met so many people from Belgium. Belgium and the Netherlands. I've met quite a few people from there as well. It's cold in Belgium right now, ain't it? I'm going to have a coffee for your health. You're having a coffee for my health. Have a coffee from. I'm having one right now, and it's double espresso. In the evening, having a coffee, which I know better. I know better than to have coffee this late. I'm gonna be up all night long. Anyway, but that's cool because then I can message my grandson because I can't message him until he's out of school, and I'm usually in the bed by the time he gets out of school. So I can message him. Anyway, you guys. So one of the things I wanted to share with you all is, and this is something that I thought about, I think about often when I travel, and that is cultural things in different places that I'm going to, right? And this month is Ramadan. In It's Ramadan. It's Ramadan anywhere they practice Ramadan. And so what that means, let me just try to define it as best I can without butchering it. It's basically a month of fasting. Non-speak. You don't speak English, but you understand the words that's coming out of my mouth. How do you understand me if you don't speak English? You understand English? Hey, Mohammed. Also, are you practicing Ramadan this month? So I want to share with people. So I do an intermittent fasting, but I do not do Ramadan, and I need to. Let me just tell you how much I really need to. A lot of people associate different things with, like, religious beliefs and things, and it's, for me, and Muhammad, you can correct me. This is just my take on it. It's a way of life, and it's actually like a cleansing. No different than when we do our fasts in, whatever other religion or lifestyle belief that you have. But for me, daily intermittent fasting is for health reasons and cleansing and purging and, like starting brand new. It's like, I look at it and, Muhammad, you could tell me, is it like resetting for the rest of the year? Is that kind of how it is? Because you only do it once a year, right? So anyway, it's one of those things where when you're traveling, if you're short-term traveling, I typically try to advise people, especially when you're going to different countries, is to check what the culture is in those countries. Number one, so you dress appropriately. Number two, so you act appropriately. And I know a lot of people are like, I can do what I want to do. I can be and all this. You can, but you can have a horrible time if you abuse and disrespect other people's homes. You wouldn't want anybody coming to your home and disrespecting you, right? And so I always say, look and see what the culture is in certain places. But then do one better, because you can Google and look things up. And then sometimes those types of things, the information share will scare you from going to places. And I'm going to say, I'm in Turkey, and there are levels to it here. There are places here that are very conservative. And then where I am, the city I'm in, everybody respects what people choose to do. So you will see, like, I'm out right now, and let me just define Ramadan, because I'm sorry I didn't do that. It's from sun up to sundown. You do not eat or drink anything, no water, no nothing, from sun up to sundown. And then once sundown hits, then you can eat and all that kind of stuff, and you can eat and things like that before sun up, but you just can't for the entire day for a month. And so one of the things I was, walking around and I was like, oh shoot, nothing's going to be open because originally I was in a hotel. And I was like, oh my God. I didn't realize because I didn't do my homework beforehand. I didn't find out. But I ended up in a city where they don't shut down. There are places, and you could tell there are people in certain areas. I live in a conservative part of town. And so I think people are a little bit more like some of the stores and shops, they honor it a little bit more. And you'll see a lot of places that don't open until after 7 p.m., after 8 p.m. in the evening, which makes sense because the sun sets at like 7 something. It doesn't get dark until almost 8 here this time of year. So, I mean, it's beautiful because the sun is out. I mean, it's light most of the time. I'm sorry, I know English, but it's hard for me to understand American. I'm sorry, fasting is good for the body and mind and makes you patient in life. I love that. That's why I need to. This is my intermittent fast. I haven't eaten all day. This is my coffee though. But like, yeah, if I was practicing Ramadan, I wouldn't even be able to have coffee. I was chewing gum too. I don't think I could do that either. And it's really, I think it's if you can go through those types of things, you can accomplish pretty much anything. And they tell you every 21 days you can make a lifestyle change. Like you can train yourself in 21 days. So if you could do something for 21 days consistently, you are literally retraining your brain and your body to whatever it is that you're doing different. It's kind of awesome. Yeah, I am in Turkey. Hello, Akila. I'm in Turkey. At least for another couple weeks, likely for longer. Hopefully, if nothing changes, nothing goes awry. But yeah, this is where I am right now. Here, I'll flip the screen so you can. I don't know if you can see that. It looks dark on my side. I think that means kebab. I think that's what that means. You can't really see. Nothing else is in Turkish. I'm at a Mac beer, which I don't know if that helps. There's a dentist place there. Oh, how are you using translator while I'm talking? I need to learn. How are you using translator while I'm talking? And listening, do you have like a separate phone? I have been living in Istanbul for 5 years. So, Mohammed, where are you from? Are you from Turkey? This is great conversation. I'm glad I came on. I haven't been to Istanbul yet. It's on my list to go. I'm waiting for it to get warmer, y'all. I don't like the cold. I was living in Albania for not living, I mean, yeah, living for a couple months. I was supposed to stay there for a year, but it got a little bit cold for me, so I'm probably going to go back this fall, maybe. GR. I don't know how to say if that's your name or just GR he or Gree, if that's proper. I don't know. How are you using translator? Please explain this to me. Do you have the translator up to the mic so it can hear me speak and it's translating? I should probably talk slower then too. Or how are you doing that? You got a translator on your YouTube? What do I not know? No, she means that she using translator for typing in the. Yeah, right. I get that, but how is she understanding what I'm saying to answer me? Because she's answering me. He or she, whoever it is, they're actually answering and responding to things that I'm saying. I'm from Syria. I'm not Turkish. So, okay, and you've been in Turkey for 5 years. I'm assuming, are you here working in Istanbul? And what part of Istanbul? Everybody tells me I will love Istanbul, especially once it's warmer. So I do plan to visit while I'm in Turkey. at least for a week, probably longer, depending on how I can get things set up. But no, that is awesome. I love it. I love it. I learn something new often when I come on my YouTube. But I am trying to migrate to the US because I have a dream job to achieve there. Oh, okay. What's your dream job? Okay, you're a student. So can you speak Turkish? I'm telling you, I got 3 words. Do I even have 3 words? Wait a minute. I did learn some words the other day on a mahala. Mahale, I think is how you say it. It's a walk. Walk through the neighborhoods. But I don't remember. Studying computer engineering. That is a field that will take you everywhere you want to go. And what's nice about the computer IT world is that because of the where we're going in the world right now with so much technology, especially AI and all this other stuff, is you actually are like steps ahead in terms of, especially if you're like studying and you're learning like different facets of it, making yourself mobile so that, I mean, you literally can do these jobs anywhere in the world. Not all of them, but quite a few of them. So it's really, really nice. Your dream job was to become a police officer. Oh, instead of computer, the computer engineering is like way brighter. But if you love police work, yes, I can speak, but no, as not as fluent as Turkish people. But yeah, I can speak it. Oh, nice. How do I say goodbye? Oh, I can't hear you though. You type it, and I can. How do people on the street say goodbye? Because a lot of times, Google Translate and Duolingo are not accurate. You know how to speak Portuguese or Spanish? I am French Portuguese. Okay, so I went to Cabo Verde, and were the Portuguese speakers in Greece? No. So I was in Cabo Verde and I was learning it there, but not really. I was learning a little bit, but most of the people I was with, they speak Creole over Portuguese. So I haven't really, I was practicing it on one of my apps. Let me think if I can think of any words. Manina? Is Manina? Trying to, like, I literally have 10 languages on my Duolingo that I'm just like trying to get the basic words. Why do you want to be a police officer in the U.S.? I'm just curious. L, I was going to ask the same question. Yes, because there's things that we know. Because it's my passion to become a police officer. I couldn't become a police officer in my own country because it's corrupted and I had to leave because of war. I'm so into law things. U.S. might not be the best place to go, to be honest. Why would you want to go to the U.S. and do it rather than Turkey? Or, I mean, I don't know what the political situation is here. But why U.S. out of and bypass all of the European countries? Because there's a lot happening in the U.S., especially as it relates to police officers, police politics, that isn't great, which is why I'm here. Because that's one of the things that initially immediately hits me when I go back to the States is the police presence and the negative energy around the police presence. And it's something that It's one of the first things I usually say when I go to another country is, yeah, I don't worry about the police. Not like I do when I go to the States. And I'm from there. I'm a prison guard. I'm very, oops, oops. And let me just tell you, Muhammad, I don't want to steer you from your passion, because if it's something that you love, I think you should definitely go after the things that you love, which is why I'm traveling as well. I'm just wondering why you picked the United States as a place to go into the fields, because I'm sure you've seen the things that happen in the United States of America. Yeah, but the only place that can hire, I'm as an immigrant without citizenship, you just need to give a green card and you can join police in California state. In Turkey, you need citizenship to be a cop. That's very interesting. That is very interesting. How does that work? L, how does that work? So you can come over to the United States, not be a citizen, and become a cop? Really? Oh boy, you just opened a can of worms. I'm gonna have to do a whole video on this. Really? I mean, I'm not surprised. But really? And the reason I say that is because, like, how would you get away with staying over your visa? Like, would you go there and then apply for the job, get the job, and then get the job to sponsor you for your visa? Is that how you would do it? Because the United States is like one of the toughest places to get in. I realized that I didn't realize it being from there until other people were asking me to, like, asking me different things about entering the States. And then I was looking it up and I was just like, oh, wow. Yeah. Political relationships with different countries kind of dictate whether or not, what the visa relationships are. Because, like, even like Albania, for example, U.S. citizens can stay in Albania visa free for a year. I don't have to apply for a visa. I don't, like, there's nothing. I could just go and stay for a year. And it's whatever relationship we had with them when they kind of became more of a free country about 30, 40 years ago, maybe 50 years ago. And somehow the U.S. is involved, like we're allies and such. But we're the only, sorry about that, you guys. We're the only country that has that agreement, as far as I know, with Albania. Because it has the best police force in the whole world. I didn't know that. This is news to me. You and I'm gonna listen. I got some homework to do. Muhammad just got on here and taught me something about the United States. Like, for real? Well, Muhammad, if you believe that, I wish you the best. If you can go and hopefully make a difference in the world, a positive difference for all people, especially in the United States, and that is fantastic. That's interesting. I learned something, Muhammad. You just taught me something, but I mean, it's not something I've ever looked up, and it's really interesting, and that's one of the reasons why I do love having these types of conversations and international listeners and viewers and supporters and stuff like that, because this is how I learn different things. Like, people share with me different things all the time, because and one of the reasons why I do assist people with traveling as well is because there isn't like one rule for everything. So, like you mentioned, Muhammad, you mentioned California, and what I love about that is every state has a different rule. So while that might be the rule in California, what we know as our states function like countries. The United States in itself should be a continent. It should be like a separate continent. And then the states like California should be a country. Like, because every single state has different rules. Every single one. They have different I mean, we have a federal government that oversees, but the federal government is trumped by the state. Anyway, too much, too much. It's not easy to go to the U.S. It's hard to get a visa for me. I'm trying, but it's really difficult. Yeah, so that part, that's what I was talking about earlier. Like, depending on your passport that you hold, there are different visa requirements to enter different countries and for people entering into the United States. So, well, definitely good luck with that if that is your dream. Best of luck with achieving that. If not, while you're working on the visa and all that other stuff, continue on with the computer science part because because the computer science will take you far, and you can make good money. You can make good money, and this is like almost anywhere in the world for the most part. Somebody needs some sort of IT support. So best of luck with that. I know. Well, you are definitely responding and chatting in English. So thank God for translators. So yeah. Anyway, you guys, the other thing I wanted to share with you is when I was talking about Ramadan and culture is once you get to a place, like after you've done your homework, you've done a little bit of your research and that kind of thing, is when you get there is kind of immerse yourself walking on the streets and stuff to really see how it is. And one of the things that you'll notice where I am is I'm in a city that isn't really, I mean, I'm sure they practice, but the restaurants are full. Everyone's not wearing head coverings and hijabs. Did I say it right? I keep saying it wrong. And all of that. It really just depends on where you are, and if you are in a place that they really stress covering your head and being not wearing fitted clothing for women, and having something like we call them muumuus, but they have another name, burqas, things like that. Know before you go what is expected of you in terms of dress, so you make sure that you're respecting it. I was living in not living, but yeah, I was there for 7 months in Tanzania, and Tanzania is one of those places that is depending on where you are, even on the island of Zanzibar, on that island, you could be in a place where you could walk around pretty much naked, and then you could go to the other part of town, which is Stone Town, and it is very strict in terms of dress, their culture, their belief system, and all of that. And so you need to be covered up, and it's totally disrespectful when you're not in Stone Town. But you could literally be just on the other side of the island, or just north in Nungwi, and walk around in a bathing suit. So it really just depends. Know your environment, know where you're going, and respect the culture where you are. You'll go a lot further. You'll have better relations with people. Which means you'll have a better time, whether you're there for 2 days, 5 days, 3 months, 5 years, whatever the case may be. There's an election coming up, and so there's a lot of streetcars rolling by with the speakers for the election. Oh yeah, Menina is girl, and Menino is boy. Thanks, Elle. Talk to you later. That is awesome, Muhammad. Not all Turkish people are. Yeah. Some of them are secular. And it's And that's why I just tell people is don't judge by, like, because when you do pull up Turkey, it says Muslim country. When I pulled up Albania, it says Muslim country. But when you go to specifically Albania, so I'll just show you guys, and not to get a face, but she's covered. And then, you got other people who are not. And you wouldn't know if you didn't go or didn't ask someone specifically, hey, how is it? Because maybe your beliefs are a certain thing. Maybe you want to be covered and you want to go to a place that is very conservative. And so it's good to know that. It's just good to know. I mean, the rest of the world it's everybody functions and does what's right for them, and it's just really important to make sure that you walk on the right side, especially if you're in somebody else's house. This is my belief. You sit up in somebody else's house, you better respect their house. Somebody say take their shoes off at the door, you better take your shoes off at the door. Because she is protecting her body and not every man stare at her body. Thank you for this moment and subscribe. Oh, thank you so much. Yes, thank you, Muhammad. Yeah, but I love the fact that if you're not dressed that way, it's also, people aren't disrespecting you either if it's your choice not to, if you choose to be secular or whatever the case. So it's just good to know. And I wanted to share that because that's the information that I saw when I Googled both places, but then talking to people who had already been, they explained to me. Bye, toodles and noodles. They explained to me it's pretty open. It's more liberal, if we want to use those terms, and do what's comfortable for you, but there's still levels of respect with that, to be fully covered and that kind of thing. So just know before you go, you guys. I really stress that. Know before you go. Talk to people, and kind of immerse yourself with, especially if you're going to stay somewhere longer term. Immerse yourself with the people who are walking up and down the street. And as a woman, one of the things that I do is I look at how the women move, and in addition to like safety, like when people talk about is a place safe, and a lot of times guys are like, yeah, it's super safe, but there's a difference. Even though we want to act like there's no difference between genders, there is. And sometimes there's places where it's safe, but it's a level of respect not to walk around certain hours of the night and things like that, or be in places drinking. And you can tell, like Albania was one of those places that was very open, very open. But at night, when it was dark, you never saw women in the restaurants drinking. It was always just full of men. So that meant get my drink, get my beer, and drink it in the house if I'm going to have a drink, if I'm going to have a glass of wine. It was wine for me in Albania. But that was something that I had to, I paid attention to and had to, respect that, because I also don't want to be sitting in a restaurant full of men. Just like, I mean, I'm cool with everybody, but you pick up on cues and things like that. And it's just important to pay attention to those types of things. So, know before you go, y'all. So that's just a little tidbit. You want to know more, please just ask me. Ask me, ask me, ask me. Yes, we should respect everybody no matter what it is they wear or what they agree. Imagine what the world would be like if everybody just respected everybody. Can you imagine? Like, and I've been to 37 countries and 100 plus cities, and each one, I'm grateful to been able to walk in, to spend time in, to learn, and just grateful for the ability and the opportunity to do that. And I respect everywhere I go. Very respectful, especially as a solo woman traveling. You don't want things to happen, and who knows on the other side of the world. And I mean, for anybody, but we don't want these things. We want to, kind of just bond and be able to commune with people. I want to be able to commune with people even if we don't speak the same language. Because I think I am a true believer that we all want the same thing. We all want to be happy. We all want to be, our families to be prosperous. We want good life. We want good opportunity. We want access. We want to be able to, move around. And like, honestly, this is the last thing I'm going to say before I get off. I wish there were no borders. I wish there were no borders. I wish we could just move around the way we want to and everybody respect everybody. And I know like that comes with a lot of complications, but that's what I wish. I wish there were no borders. And so I kind of move without borders until I get to a border and I got to show identification. So anyway, y'all, I'm going to get out of here. Thank y'all for tuning in. I'm going to do more of these impromptu. I love this. This was a good time slot too. 5 o'clock my time. But I'll check you guys out next time. Y'all know the drill. Toodles and noodles. Peace and hair grace.